Matt, a nice win series-wise for the Hens this weekend against Memphis.
Yeah, it really was, Claire. It came down to that Sunday game. It looked like Memphis, with their win Saturday, they had a little bit of momentum. Thought they could come in, split the series, end up splitting the entire season series, but no. The Hens 4-run ambush first inning. We've been using the term ambush a lot because the Hens have been striking early and getting after teams. You do that in that first inning. We saw it multiple times over the course of the series, including going against some pretty good prospect pitchers where the Hens got after them early. Then those pitchers started to settle in and it became more difficult to score. So when you can get runs early, that is always a key. Hens with 4 on Sunday, and that set the tone for the game. That's all they really needed. Although Memphis came back, made it a closer game, Hens eventually pushed out to make sure they won the game pretty comfortably. But those first inning runs are so key.
And you mentioned facing the St. Louis Cardinals' top prospect last Thursday. The Hens really took it to him after losing 4-0 the day before. They had no trouble getting the scoring started in that one.
Yeah, they did, and it was a good thing they did because Matthew Liberatore, boy, he looked really good. From the second inning through the sixth inning, he was fantastic. You just look at the first inning, it was a good thing the Hens scored early on him because that's what we're talking about. When you're facing good pitchers, sometimes they're trying to find it, even though they've already thrown in the bullpen. Sometimes when they get on the mound, it's that finding the strike zone right away. And for him, he was a little wild early, and then when he did come in and get in the strike zone, it was a pitch that was able to be hit very easily for the Mud Hens, and that's why they put up a big inning, the first inning on him. But then you saw him settle in, and you saw his whole repertoire and why they say he's going to be maybe a 1 or a 2 at the major league level, why Tampa Bay drafted him high, why St. Louis wanted him in a trade last year. He's got all of the tools. He's got 4 pitches that he throws for strikes, and we saw all 4 of them, especially from that second inning on. He was difficult to handle completely for the Mud Hens offense. It was that first inning that was the key, and it really got them going in the series.
And don't want to put you on the spot. Did you tally how many home runs for both teams were hit over this series? Because there were quite a few.
There were quite a few, and the Mud Hens especially hitting home runs. It felt like every night they had multiple home runs on the board, Claire. I think you're right on that. At one point, they were even shut out one game, and they had 7 home runs in 3 games. So that tells you what they were able to do in a couple of games. They're hitting bombs. Renato Nunez is hot right now. We knew if he ended up being here the majority of the year that he's going to hit a lot of home runs. He did it every spot that he was in the minor leagues prior to coming to Detroit. You had a feeling he would do that again here. Aderlin Rodriguez, just such an under-the-radar guy. How he never got up to the major leagues in Baltimore is beyond me. Because Baltimore, it's been a little while since they've been good. Kind of like the Tigers. They both were on the same path. They were up for a little bit. Now they're both down. And yet, for some reason, with him and their organization, he never got that opportunity to look at the big league level. He can hit some massive home runs. And by the way, just him alone, 6 of his 11 home runs have come against Memphis this year. He's probably sad that we're not seeing him them the rest of the year. But yes, you got mashing all over the place for the Mud Hens. This is a team that's already hit over 60 home runs. And we're talking about a 60 games or 120 game season. So that means, you're losing out on 24 games at this point to what we would normally see. And this Hens team, we haven't even hit the halfway point. They're already over 60 home runs. It's a good home run hitting team.
Now this week we see Columbus again for another Tuesday through Sunday matchup. Just saw them a couple weeks back, but we're back at home. What do you expect out of this series?
Well, I'll tell you what, this has been interesting because the home team has been the better team so far. When the Clippers were in Toledo, the Hens took 4 out of the 6 games. When Toledo went down to Columbus, Columbus won 4 out of the 6 games. So they're an even 6-6 on the season, 12 games in. These two teams are going to play each other 30 times total for the course of the season. So after this one, there's still 2 more series left to be played against Columbus. So it's an interesting series. They got a lot of young pitching there in Columbus right now. They've got some good hitting as well. They're hitting their stride a little bit right now, and Toledo's doing the same thing. I expect this to be a pretty good series this week.
And unfortunately, we do not have fireworks this week on the 2nd, but you can stay in your seat July 4th and see the Toledo City fireworks. Plus, a fun night coming up tomorrow. I know you always enjoy having Booter at the ballpark.
I do. His people told me, though, he's going to go to the July 12th game.
Okay.
So he's got a couple weeks to prepare himself and be ready to go to get down there, because every year he's made an appearance going back, I think, 5 or 6 years now. I'd have to I'd have to go back. I think it's 6 years, actually. He's gone to at least one game every year, so get a chance to take him down there to the ball game, and a lot of the pups that'll be out there as well with 2 Hens and Hounds nights, the second one being July 12th that I mentioned there. So yeah, certainly looking forward to having him at the ballpark, and he always has a blast. A couple times I've got to run out of the booth with him to take him out to see the rest of the dogs and walk him around. But, Jim can handle it. He's a pro. He's only done, nearly 6,000 games. I think he'll be okay for an inning or two.
He should be able to handle it. But Bark in the Park tomorrow night as the Hens host Columbus for their first of 6. You can hear Mr. Matt Melzak and Jim Weber on the call. Matt, as always, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next Monday.